Yo, what is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be reacting to some Mark Rober Unbreakable Ice Cream Safe and some other cool stuff. So once again, I came back from the practice all sweaty without taking a shower. I started recording a video. Today's workout was absolutely nuts. My forearms are jacked right now. So it's 100 kettlebell snatches followed up by 200 kettlebell swings. But there is a twist. Every time you drop it, you have to do 5 burpees, 10 push-ups, and 15 squats. Yeah, it's a hard workout if you want to give it a try. I use a 35-pound kettlebell. But without further ado, let's get into the reaction to Mark Rober, How to Make Stuff. I Made a Class.
In exactly 1 week, I'll be releasing the Glitter Bomb 3.0 video. It's got a bunch of new features, and it turns out even in 2020, there were no shortage of package thieves that involuntarily volunteered to test all those new features out for us.
Look at that, is it glitter?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
10, 9,
8,
7, 6,
5, 4, 3.
But this video isn't that. I'm making this video to tell you about something I've poured my guts into for almost a year, and it's like the biggest thing I've ever announced on my channel. But first, I have a confession, and that's I love ice cream. It's just objectively the best food that there is. But there's 2 problems with that. Number 1, I have no impulse control to keep me from eating this entire tub in a single day. And number 2, other people in my house also love it. So we are competing over a scarce resource. So I came up with an invention to protect the ice cream from my poor impulse control and other people in my house at the exact same time. And here it is. Do you see it? Of course you don't, because that's the first line of defense in action.
What?
It's camouflaged in this bag of frozen vegetables.
Alright,
but
that's
even
smart.
if someone in my house were to accidentally stumble upon this bag of vegetables, this is what they'd find.
Alright.
It's impossible for even the world's strongest person to remove this lid, because it's clamped on with a 1/4 ton of force, and yet there are no buttons, latches, or locks. And it works because the lid and the base are made from different metals. So you place the carton right in the base, and then the lid just snugly slides on at room temperature. But when
By the way, let me just say something. Ben & Jerry semi-baked dough with brownies is the best ice cream you can get on the planet. That's like, it's the best, not gonna lie. So the fact that he's also putting Ben & Jerry ice cream in this video kind of makes me happy.
I put it in the freezer, the anodized aluminum lid shrinks 50% more than the stainless steel base does, essentially fusing them together.
Oh,
the trick
that's
then
interesting.
is to just run room temperature water over the lid, because when you increase their temperatures, aluminum also grows
expands
50% more than steel.
Yo,
and
that's
solves my
sick.
impulse control issues, because it makes me wait at least 30 seconds to
That
think
is
if I
sick.
should really eat this ice cream. And in this
Yeah,
case,
you definitely should.
Yep, I definitely should. This idea just occurred to me one day, so I made it. And that's the thing I love about being an engineer. If you have an idea about a thing and that thing doesn't exist, you can just will it into existence.
Make it.
So here's my big announcement. I have been secretly working for nearly a year to create a month-long course that will teach you to use engineering and science to bring your own creative ideas to life. We structured this course in such a way that it covers my entire creative design process while still being easy to follow and digestible. And this really is my entire process. You'll follow along with me
want to give
as
it a
I
try.
create 3 different brand new builds, starting all the way from just coming up with the idea in the first place. So for example, for one of the 3 projects in the class, the design challenge is just some kind of build that has to do with habits. So it either helps enforce a good habit or breaks a bad one. And as you'll see in the class, as I was stepping through the brainstorming portion of the engineering design process, it occurred to me, what if I could build something that could do both at the same time? Before this, I never actually known how to solve a Rubik's Cube, so this seemed like a worthy good habit. So every time I
complicated,
do it, I can just set it in this really cool retro blender I found on eBay that's also just camouflaged in my kitchen, and then it will check to see if I solved it correctly when I turn it on. And if I did, then the back pops open and I get rewarded with my favorite candy, which if it weren't locked away, I would eat every time I came through the kitchen because, again, no impulse control.
Yep.
And normally on my channel, whether it's an automatic bullseye dartboard or the world's largest Nerf gun or super soaker,
that is still like all the stuff is so crazy.
It's just me presenting the final thing, and then you get to see it in action. But for this class, I pull back the curtain, and you get to see the creation process unfold in real time. You get to see all those aha moments, the hundreds of little decisions that lead to the final build, as I talk you through my thought process and the techniques and tools that I'm using as I use them. But by far the coolest part is you get to practice this process yourself.
All right.
And that's where the true learning occurs. Together, we'll follow the engineering design process side by side. No matter what your starting skill level is, the course is designed so that by
not
the
gonna
end of
lie,
the month,
very tempting.
you will leave the class with
Very
3
tempting to
original
make
creative
a series
builds
on
of
it.
your own that you can proudly show off to the world.
All
And
right.
other students will be in the class with you, so you can learn together and get feedback.
Diamond
and
play
I'll be
button
in
right there.
sometimes too, leaving
Right
comments
there.
and video responses on people's work. And so just to give you a little flavor of the class, here's like a 60-second sneak peek.
All right, let's
You
see
guys
it.
ready? The first build is mechanical. Here are my 5 requirements now. We want to make sure we have a bunch of different starting points. What's the right arc that this should have?
All right.
Each time it spun around, PVC pipe here. I don't even know what this is for in real life, but it's small, it's cheap. My work is I'll just raise
right.
the back of the catapult up, and that will give me a different launch angle. 3, 2, 1, launch. And then this comes all the way back, and then boop, and it comes down. This makes sense in 2D. Now I've got to take this 2D and like map it to the 3D here. It's a shear load, it's not like a tension load. So that may be enough. You get a force going back that way, goes through the eyelet, and then comes back to me. Captures it, fires, lovely.
Okay, now I'm
It
confused.
impacts on this shoulder right here. It's a dice roll at every gate, basically. So the fewer gates you have, the less complex
So this
the
is
system
the
is.
2D
fewer
design
moving
that you were
parts,
showing us.
always the more reliable it's going to be. Oh, baby!
You got it. Let's go. Wow.
It's basically like us hanging out together as I walk you through my entire process. In fact, if you combine all the videos in the course, it's longer than the combined time of all the videos I've uploaded to YouTube in my 10 years on the
Christ,
platform.
that is
and the goal of the
nuts.
class is not just to expose you to all the tools and techniques that I use, but to teach you to think like an engineer. But like in the good way, not in the way that makes my wife frustrated when we have to talk about feelings. And the process I'll be teaching you is the same process I used at Apple as a product designer. It's the same process I used at NASA to
My
help
man
build
is
the Curiosity
crazy.
rover, and it's the same exact process I use every month on all my YouTube videos. We'll cover mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, 3D printing, prototyping, CAD, Arduino and Raspberry Pi,
All right.
the scientific
That's
method,
good.
and so much more, including how to tell a great story around your build and give it character so people will naturally want to share it. And if you hear all that and you're like, psh, that's way over my head, don't worry, because hopefully you trust me enough by now to know that I love to try and take these really complex things and break them down to their most basic elements so that they make sense even for someone just starting out. Now to be clear, if this is your
That's
first time
Mark
dipping your
Rober for you.
toes in the water, I'm definitely not promising that by the end of the month you'll be making like fully functioning glitter bombs. But you will have a fundamental understanding of how a mechanical and electrical build like this works, and exposure to all of the steps and processes by which something like this is made. Like there's no element of this glitter bomb that we don't at least somehow touch on in the class. We really tried to design the
interesting.
course so that anyone could create at the edge of their abilities, whatever they currently are. Now, if you're an adult or a professional engineer, I'm confident you will get a lot out of this class. But on the other end of the spectrum, a question I've already been asked is what's sort of the right minimum age level where it won't feel overwhelming? And I'd say for sure anyone like high school or above will be fine. Having said that, I've met some pretty precocious 8-year-olds that are already into building and electronics, and I think they'd be fine too. Otherwise, this is a great month-long activity for maybe a parent and their kid, or even a whole family to tackle together. At the end of the day, if you're not quite sure, you could just sign up to test it out and then get a full refund up until day 5 of the class. The company I partnered with is called Monthly, and they're great. They specialize in these month-long accelerated learning courses, and their user satisfaction ratings are super high across the board. So you can feel confident this would make a great holiday gift, or just a fantastic way to start the new year by making a resolution to learn some new skills that will serve you for the rest of your creative life. So if you're looking for a new hands-on way to bring your creative ideas to life, or if you've always been interested in science and engineering and want to further invest in this interest, or if you're just a more experienced engineer looking for a fresh way to do things, then this class is for you. Just go to monthly.com/markrober or use the link in the video description to check it out and then enroll in this month-long learning experience.
I will
with
think
me.
about it. I will think
know
about
it's in the class, and I promise you won't regret it.
I'll think about it. That sounds like something that I'll potentially do. Let's just check out the cost, because I might not do it depending on the cost. What if I just enroll now? Alright. Let's quickly try to enroll and see how much it costs. Because maybe, just maybe, that is something that I can do maybe a series on, like extra to the reaction stuff. That could also be kind of cool. Call it like Road to Becoming an Engineer, like featuring Mark Rober. I don't know, maybe it's gonna bang, maybe it's not, like we'll see. Well, that's interesting though. That's interesting. Definitely a sick video. Like that was nuts. Like it kind of like the ice cream part, that's where I was like stuck most of the time. Like most of the video, I was just stuck trying to figure out like, yo, how did you decide that like using two different types of steel, one like actual steel and then another one is aluminum, with aluminum's properties, with having different properties than metal, having it squeeze a lot harder than the metal itself. It's just than the steel, sorry, not the metal. Metal is a subgroup. It's just interesting. It's just, there is nothing more to say to it. It's nuts. The fact that the man can come up with those ideas is crazy. It's definitely a good skill to have. Let's see, how much does it cost? Oh shit. Not gonna lie, guys, probably not happening. The course costs $250, which I would say for the thing that you're getting is definitely worth it. However, it is a lot of money. So we'll see. So it's from January 4th to February 2nd. Lifetime access to video lessons and full curriculum. Yeah, I'll think about it. How about I'll think about it? But yeah, that would be all for today. That is crazy. I would say that was an educational video on what you can potentially do and about your potential. And every person has a lot of potential. So have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Bring it back down. They think it's a game right now, but it ain't the same right now. Know my name right now. Back where I came from now. We gon' live it up till we bring it back down.